Well, speaking of things that are being said right now, TSN hockey insider Bob McKenzie, very well respected in the business, said he thinks the Leafs will trade Phil Kessel. So again, now it's out there again in the midst of all of the things that are happening with the Leafs about hiring Sheldon Keefe as their coach for their minor league team, the continued speculation about front office hirings, the Phil Kessel and Dion Phaneuf rumors have percolated again.
Well, I didn't hear Phaneuf, but I heard the Kessel one today and yesterday.
Well, they almost traded Phaneuf. I think they know Phaneuf's gone. I think this is all part of Shanahan living up to his word. Pretty much told people when he fired Nonis and that whole group that, hey, we're doing what we have to do, and we're hiring people that know what we have to do, and they either comply with what we're going to do or they won't be here. And part of what they're going to do is get rid of Kessel and Phaneuf. The question, as I see it, is whether they're going to have to dump Kessel or whether they can arrange to get a half-decent hockey return. And it has nothing to do with anything other than Kessel is grossly overpaid, and they're going to have to compensate the team that wants him the most and say, okay, we'll pay $2 million, we'll pay $3 million. But we want your first this year, your first next year, a second this year, and we want your best young prospect.
So you think basically to get what they want, they're going to have to eat contract as opposed to just making a straight trade?
Absolutely.
I'll bet whatever you want that they'll be able to make a straight trade for Kessel.
No way.
Eat contract.
Frank, you have to understand one thing. They will make a straight trade for Kessel. They'll get 2/3 of 1/2 of F-all, trading an $8 million contract. If they cut the contract, they will win value in the return.
There's no way that anybody is going to take a Kessel straight up for another player and inherit that ridiculously exuberant contract.
No, they're not. They're not interested.
Another way to put it.
No, I may be all wrong. I mean, there may be someone out there that's really that stupid. I don't know of anybody.
I don't think they're going to just take that contract, and no, I can't see it. I think Toronto's got to eat some of that for sure. And
I think got to eat a big chunk of it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely and Phaneuf. They're going to eat Phaneuf's contract too.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. That's what we talked about. We talked about the Nathan Horton cushion. That $6 million long-term injury pad that they've got on top of their cap will pay it off for 4 years. It only goes for 4 years. Kessel's still got 3 more after that. And then it's an $8 million hit. They can't do that. In 4 years, they're going to be ready to play the game. They can't take $8 million off their cap to compensate for Dodo. It's impossible. It's the ruination of the Toronto Maple Leafs if they trade those 2 players with their contracts. I don't think it'll happen. But if it does, it's going to be trouble because the Leafs will get nothing in the rebuild. On the other hand, if they're able to finesse the $3 million or the $2 million, whatever they choose to pay, they're going to get some kind of asset value back. And if they don't, what the hell? They're just dumping them. And dumping them, all it accomplishes is, we'll take them. At $8 million, we'll take them. But I don't know that anybody is going to take them. They may say, we'll take them at $8 million, you give us your first. That's how bad it is. It's a 7-year, $8 million obligation. $56 million for Phil Kessel. Please. And people wonder where Dave Nonis is?
The Phil Kessel, though, if you subtract what happened this year, he is one of the premium goal scorers in the league, and there's a lot of teams that need goal scoring. Is there not going to be some GM that's saying, you know what, this kid is just not happening for him in Toronto. The money's getting to him, the crowd's getting to him, the pressure's getting to him. We get him out of there, we take the chance. He's going to score 40 goals for us, and we don't mind paying the $8 million.
Nobody's going to pay $1 million for him for 2 reasons, 2 very important reasons. Number one, he has a history of not giving a shit, right? He's one of the most talented guys in the NHL. He is definitely a natural sniper, and he can score goals without even trying, and he hasn't tried. So I think that there's still guys, general managers, who have big enough egos to say maybe we can turn him around. but they're not going to gamble and put their job on the line. They're going to have the Leafs pay a portion of that. But I agree in half of your statement that there is going to be general managers that believe that they will be able to turn them around. You know, you remember Jim Carrey, the Net Detective? He did great in Washington, faltered in the next, or he started doing shit, and about 2-3 teams gambled on him because they thought they could bring that goaltending back, but it didn't happen. The same thing with Raycroft. Where's Raycroft now?
So you're okay. So if I understand this correctly, Bill, your theory is, as long as the Leafs are willing to eat part of that contract, in turn they will be able to ask for and get a first-round pick or quality players in return. All they have to do is eat the contract.
Oh, no, they have
eat a portion of the contract.
Eat a portion of the contract is what I'm saying. That's how the Leafs would get back value.
We get fair market value, yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to just saying,
oh, here, take Phil Kessel.
yeah.
There's nobody in the league that will take him. There's nobody in the league that has room for this Billy Goat under the cap, because those teams that think he's going to help them are going to be cap teams. So they'll want to, at the very least, stiff the Leafs with 2 bums.
Okay, but no, that's not going to happen, Billy. You're too smart, and the Leafs now have enough smart people to do that. But you know, and I know, that for $5 million a year, Kessel, a lot of teams will gamble the $5 million a year because he, like Perry said, without trying, he can score goals.
Yeah, no, I agree, Frank.
So they'll gamble $5 million, but there's no fucking way they're going to gamble 8, 9, or whatever his real ticket price is. So to make it like where he should be, of what he should be paying in a realistic world, the Leafs are going to balance that out.
But close to home, Bobby.
Of his contract, to make a deal and try to get 2 good guys, they're going to do it.
Yeah, well, Bobby Ryan, close to home, 18 goals, close to $5.5 million. Now, I think Bobby Ryan gives a little bit more hustle and energy than Phil Kessel, but I think you're right, Frank. The kind of going rate would be around that.
5.5. I mean, I don't have a fucking clue what these salaries and what the rationale was, for Kessel and Fanoff. I really have none. But rather than us continue saying this, Kessel's a great player.